If you are trying and failing currently to change your business results, I have got something that you are really going to want to have a listen to. Okay. So I am live on my Facebook page. I'm also streaming into my Unstoppable Women Entrepreneurs group. So hopefully we'll get a few people joining us live in a little bit. But I wanted to share something with you that I am currently reading. Okay, so as most of you will know, if you follow my page or in my group, you probably know that I'm a certified Proctor Gallagher consultant, which means that I was trained and mentored by the legendary Bob Proctor before he passed away last year to help people achieve their big goals in life. Okay, specifically for me, that usually means working with women in business and helping them achieve their life goals through building a business that they're 100% in love with. So I also work with a few very lucky men as well. But generally speaking, I work with people who have their own businesses because I am passionate about the fact that if you are going to achieve something really big in life, you need to be doing that through your own business. It's very difficult to do that when you're working for somebody else for all kinds of reasons. Okay, the income, earning, opportunity, the amount of influence that you can have, the amount of impact that you can have on other people. So specifically, I help people. I take women generally in business through the Thinking into Results program, and that's what I want to read something from Thinking into Results program to you today. So every 30 days, I set myself a reading challenge, and I'm doing this with some of my Thinking into Results clients as well. And we read the same thing every day for 30 days. So sometimes it's a chapter from a book. Sometimes it might be a lesson from a particular program. It might be an article. But we read the same thing every day for 30 days. And currently, I'm reading an article from the Thinking into Results participant guide. Okay, mine's really dog-eared because the amount of times that I've been through, the amount of views it gets. But this is the guide that we work through and complete during our 6 months together when you come into Thinking into Results. So if you want to hear about Thinking into Results, then drop me a message and we'll see if that might be a fit for you. If you're not in Thinking into Results, but you want to do the challenge, all right, if you listen to what I've got to say and you think it would be useful to do the challenge as well, then I'm happy to share the PDF of this article with you. If you want to get that, and I'll repeat this at the end, but if you want to get the article, if you type success in the comments below, I will message you and we'll get that PDF to you if you want to read it for 30 days. So first of all, why do we read things for 30 days? Repetition is the key to changing your paradigm. Okay, if you don't know what your paradigm is, then we really need to have a chat. There is a big difference between what people know and what they do with that information. Okay, learning more and more, doing more and more programs, learning more and more strategy, particularly when it comes to business, is not going to help you improve your results on its own. Okay, if you don't change who you are and how you behave, then you're not going to do what you need to do with that information. You're not going to implement it the way you need to implement it to get the results you really want, unless you change who you are at a subconscious level, all right, at a habitual level, a spiritual level, if you like, I suppose. So that's what we do in Thinking into Results. Okay, we reprogram your subconscious mind so that you start to think and feel and act like the person that you are meant to be, like the person who gets the results that you really want to be getting. Because it's only when you change your behavior that you start to change your results. All right, more and more information, more and more knowledge is not going to do that. Okay, you believe me. Okay, I spent tens of thousands of pounds learning more and more knowledge about how I could hopefully change my business results. More marketing techniques and I did all the programs, all right, did all the technical stuff, and my results didn't change for 10 years, right? It's only when you change how you do what you do that you start to change the results that you get. And this article that I'm going to read you describes that better, I think, at the moment for me than anything else I've found, which is why I've got some of my Thinking into Results clients reading this as well. So what I'm going to do, again, those of you who are just joining, I'm Emma Hague, I'm a Proctor Gallagher consultant. I'm just about to read an article from the Thinking into Results programme, right? We have a 6-month programme that we take our clients through. I'm going to read an article from it called The Common Denominator of Success, all right? And it basically goes into all the reasons why you are not achieving what you really want to achieve at this moment in time and how to change that. All right. So last time I read this, it took about 15 minutes. This is my daily reading. I'm reading it for 30 days with some of my Thinking into Results clients. I thought I would share the reading with you today and that you might find it useful. And if you want to try it in your life, in your business for the next 30 days, if you type success in the comments below, I will get you the PDF and you can do that too and let me know how you get on with it. Just before I start reading, I'm going to make sure we don't have any comments already or any questions. Let's see. Don't think we have yet. Okay, that's all right. So I'm just going to read. All right. As I say, it might be about 15 minutes. If anybody has any questions afterwards, please feel free to post them in the comments below. And if you want the PDF, type success and I'll get that to you. But I'm just going to read this. Now, I'd want to just say, okay, if you are serious about changing your results, this article basically gives you everything you need to know, right? It's not going to change your results overnight, but if you listen to what I'm telling you, and if you get the PDF and study this article, it could change everything for you because it tells you exactly what you need to know. And what it tells you in the article is exactly what we help people do in Thinking into Results. All right. So if you're already in Thinking into Results, then we're going to be covering this. It's actually in lesson 10. It's at the end of lesson 10. And lesson 10 in Thinking into Results is about becoming a great leader. Right. It's how to show up as a leader for the people that you need in your life if you're going to achieve the things that you really want to achieve. So I'm just going to read it. Any questions, let me know, and I'll give you those instructions again if you want the PDF once you've listened to it. So please listen carefully. I'm going to read quite slowly. I'm going to try and make it easy to understand, but I'm just going to read straight from the article. All right. So The Common Denominator of Success by Albert Ian Gray. Authors often refer to the words of Albert Ian Gray and his speech, The Common Denominator of Success. Years of experience as a successful executive helped Mr. Gray find answers to the questions you've probably asked yourself. Questions like, how can I avoid failure in this new career? How can I manage to succeed in my interesting new profession? Mr. Gray crystallised his thoughts about these common but important doubts that we all experience at some time during our lives, and he incorporated them into a speech called The Common Denominator of Success. We have taken the liberty of substituting a few phrases to help each of us relate to Mr. Gray's remarkable message more personally. All right, again, we being Proctor Gallagher, because this is in the Thinking into Results participant guide again, but I'm sure you can download it elsewhere if you want to. Several years ago, I was brought face to face with the very disturbing realization that I was trying to supervise and direct the efforts of a large number of people who were trying to achieve success without knowing myself what the secret of success really was, right? How many people here have found themselves in that situation, right? Trying to help a number of other people achieve success without actually knowing yourself what the secret of success is, right? And that naturally brought me face to face with the further realization that regardless of what other knowledge I might have brought to my job, I was definitely lacking in the most important knowledge of all. Of course, like most of us, I'd been brought up on the popular belief that the secret of success is hard work. But I'd seen so many people work hard without succeeding, and so many people succeed without working hard, that I'd become convinced that hard work was not the real secret, even though in most cases it might be one of the requirements. All right. So nobody's saying you don't have to work hard, but working hard is not the real secret to success. And so I set out on a voyage of discovery, which carried me through biographies and autobiographies and all sorts of dissertations on success and the lives of successful people, until I finally reached the point at which I realised that the secret I was trying to discover lay not only in what people did, but also in what made them do it. I realised further that the secret for which I was searching must not only apply to every definition of success, but since it must apply to everyone to whom it was offered, it must also apply to everyone who had ever been successful. In short, I was looking for the common denominator of success. And because that is exactly what I was looking for, that is exactly what I found. But this common denominator of success is so big, so powerful, and so vitally important to your life and mine that I'm not going to make a speech about it. I'm just going to lay it on the line in words of one syllable, so simple that anybody can understand them. The common denominator of success, the secret of success of every person who has ever been successful, lies in the fact that they formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. The common denominator of success, the secret of success of every person who has ever been successful, lies in the fact that they formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. It's just as true as it sounds, and it's just as simple as it seems. You can hold it up to the light, you can put it to the acid test, and you can kick it round until it's worn out. But when you're all through with it, it will still be the common denominator of success, whether we like it or not. It will still explain why people have gone into a business or profession with every apparent qualification for success and have been nothing but disappointing failures, while others have achieved outstanding success in spite of many obvious handicaps. And since it will also explain your future, it would seem to be a mighty good idea for you to use it in determining just what sort of future you are going to have. In other words, let's take this big, all-embracing secret and boil it down to fit you. If the secret of success lies in forming the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do, let's start the boiling down process by determining what are the things that failures don't like to do. The things that failures don't like to do are the things that you and I and other human beings, including successful people, naturally don't like to do. In other words, we've got to realise right from the start that success is something which is achieved by the minority of people and is therefore unnatural and not to be achieved by following our natural likes and dislikes, nor by being guided by our natural preferences and prejudices. Okay, once more, success is not to be achieved by following our natural likes and dislikes, nor by being guided by our natural preferences and prejudices. The things that failures don't like to do, in general, are too many and too obvious for us to discuss them here. And so, since our success in every endeavour lies in our ability to persuade others to do what we would like them to do, let's move on to a discussion of the things we don't like to do. Here too, the things we don't like to do are too many to permit a specific discussion, but I think they can all be disposed of by saying that they all emanate from one basic dislike common to all of us. We don't like to talk to people about something they might not want to talk about. Again, we don't like to talk to people about something they might not want to talk about. Any reluctance to approach someone, to suggest a change in their activity, to persuade them to take a new approach is caused by this one basic dislike. Perhaps you've wondered what is behind this particular lack of welcome on the part of those we're trying to persuade. Isn't it due to the fact that our prospects are human too? And isn't it true that the average human being is highly resistant to change, even when it's for their own improvement? and is therefore prone to escape our efforts to persuade them to do something they don't want to do by striking at the most important weakness we possess, namely our desire to be appreciated. In other words, our innate desire to be appreciated holds most people back from wanting to talk to people about things that they might not want to talk about. Okay. Perhaps you've been discouraged by a feeling that you were born subject to certain dislikes peculiar to you, with which successful people are not afflicted. Perhaps you've wondered why it is that those who accomplish most seem to like doing the things that you don't like to do. They don't. And I think this is the most important and encouraging statement I have ever offered any person. But if they don't like to do these things, then why do they do them? And if successful people don't like to do these things, why do they do them? Because by doing the things they don't like to do, they can accomplish the things they want to accomplish. Now, let me repeat that. Successful people are influenced by the desire for pleasing results. Failures are influenced by the desire for pleasing methods and are inclined to be satisfied with such results as can be obtained by doing things they like to do. Right? I'll repeat that again. Successful people are influenced by the desire for pleasing results. So successful people are looking at the results that they're going to get, and that's what they're aiming for. Failures are influenced by the desire for pleasing methods. So failures are more focused on doing the things they like to do. And failures are inclined to be satisfied with such results as can be obtained by doing the things they like to do. All right. Now, this is why people limit themselves, because they're limiting themselves to doing the things they like to do or they want to do and they feel comfortable doing. Why are successful people able to do things they don't like to do while failures are not? Because successful people have a purpose strong enough to make them form the habit of doing things they don't like to do in order to accomplish the purpose they want to accomplish. Sometimes even the best producers get into a slump. When a person gets into a slump, it simply means they've reached a point at which, for the time being, the things they don't like to do have become more important than their reasons for doing them. Many people with whom I've discussed this common denominator of success have said at this point, but I've got a family to support and I have to have a living for my family and myself. Isn't that enough of a purpose? Like, that should be enough of a driving purpose to drive me, to move me forward. No, it's not. It isn't a sufficiently strong purpose to make you form the habit of doing things that you don't like to do, for the very simple reason that it's easier to adjust ourselves to the hardships of a poor living than it is to adjust ourselves to the hardships of making a better one. Right? It's easier to settle for being poor than it is to do the things you will need to do to move yourself out of that situation. If you doubt me, just think of all the things you're willing to go without in order to avoid doing the things you don't like to do. All of which seems to prove that the strength that holds you to your purpose is not your own strength, but the strength of the purpose itself. Now let's see why habit belongs so importantly in this common denominator of success. People are creatures of habit, just as machines are creatures of momentum. For habit is nothing more or less than momentum translated from the concrete into the abstract. Can you picture the problem that would face our mechanical engineers if there were no such thing as momentum? Speed would be impossible because the highest speed at which any vehicle could be moved would be the first speed at which it could be broken away from a standstill. Elevators could not be made to rise, airplanes could not be made to fly, and the entire world of mechanics would find itself in a total state of helplessness. Then who are you and I to think that we can do with our own human nature what the finest engineers in the world could not do with the finest machinery that was ever built? Every single qualification for success is acquired through habit. People form habits and habits form futures. If you do not deliberately form good habits, then unconsciously you will form bad ones. You are the kind of person you are because you have formed the habit of being that kind of person. And the only way you can change is through changing habits. That's what we're doing, Thinking into Results. The success habit for any area of achievement can be divided into 4 main groups. I want you to listen carefully to this if you have a business and you're trying to grow your business. Okay, so the success habit for any area of achievement can be divided into 4 main groups. 1, contacting habits. 2, calling habits. 3, persuading habits. 4, working habits. Let's discuss these habit groups in their order. Any successful person will tell you that it's easier to persuade someone to a particular course of action than to find someone who already wants to do it. But if you have not deliberately formed the habit of contacting those who need what you're offering, regardless of their wants, then unconsciously you have formed the habit of limiting your contacts to those people who already want what you have to offer. And therein lies the one and only real reason for a lack of interested contacts. All right. If you're limiting yourself to people that you already know want what you've got, then you're limiting yourself to those people. Okay. As to calling habits, unless you've deliberately formed the habit of calling on people who are able to do what you want them to do, but who may be unwilling to listen, then unconsciously you form the habit of calling on people who are willing to listen, but unable to do what you want them to do. I see this a lot in business where women in particular are contacting or getting in front of or speaking to people they know are likely to be willing to listen. All right. But they're probably not able to do what you want them to do. So if you're getting in front of, subconsciously a lot of the time, unconsciously a lot of the time, getting in front of people who are interested in what you do, but they're just not able to invest in what you're offering. They're just not able to spend the monthly amount you want them to spend, or to spend a certain amount on a high ticket item. Then you've unconsciously formed the habit of calling on people who are willing to listen but unable to do what you want them to do. Okay, so what's going to happen there? As to persuasion habits, unless you've deliberately formed the habit of calling on people determined to help them see why it's in their best interest to take a particular course of action, then unconsciously you form the habit of calling on people while you're in a state of mind in which you're willing to let them make you see their reasons for not going along with you, right? If you're holding discovery calls, discovery sessions, free coaching sessions of any type, any kind of calls, one-to-one or virtual, where you're meeting with people, you're not converting anybody into a sale, it's because you've unconsciously formed the habit of calling on people while you're in a state of mind in which you're willing to let them make you see their reasons for not going along with you. Right? I see this a lot with people who are selling products, who are worried that the products are too expensive that they're selling. When you speak to somebody, you've got to get yourself in the state of mind that I can really help this person. I've got to make this person see just what kind of an impact this is going to have on their lives and not be persuaded round to that person's way of thinking. As to working habits, if you will take care of the other 3 groups, the working habits will generally take care of themselves, because under working habits are included study and preparation, organisation of time and efforts, records, analyses, etc. Certainly, you're not going to take the trouble to learn the best approach to your presentation unless you're going to use it. You're not going to plan your day's activities when you know in your heart that you're not going to carry out your plans. And you're certainly not going to keep an honest record of things you haven't done or of results you haven't achieved. So let's not worry so much about the 4th group of success habits. Okay, let's not worry too much about working habits, because they will fall into place if you master the other 3. But before you decide to adopt these success habits, let me warn you of the importance of habit to your decision. I have attended many sales meetings and rallies during past years and have often wondered why, in spite of the fact there is so much good in them, so many people seem to get so little lasting good out of them. Perhaps you've attended sales meetings in the past and you've left these meetings determined to do the things that would make you successful or more successful, only to find your decision or determination waning at just the time when it should be put into effect or practice. How many people have been to sales conferences, seminars, team meetings and come away raring to go, and this is it, this is what I needed, I'm just going to go home and implement it. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, you're still in the same position. Here is the answer. Any resolution or decision you make is simply a promise to yourself that isn't worth a tinker's damn until you form the habit of making it and keeping it. I'm going to repeat that. Any resolution or decision you make is simply a promise to yourself that isn't worth a tinker's damn until you form the habit of making it and keeping it. And you won't form the habit of making it and keeping it unless right at the start you link it with a definite purpose that can be accomplished by keeping it. In other words, any resolution or decision you make today has to be made again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and the next, and so on. Which is why having a 30-day reading challenge is a really good idea, because if you're reading this every single day, you can use this as the decision every day that you're going to make a difference, okay? And it not only has to be made each day, but it has to be kept each day, because if you miss one day in the making or keeping of it, you've got to go back and begin all over again. All right. So in the case of my 30-day challenges, if you miss a day, your 30 days starts again, right? If you do it non-stop for 28 days and then you miss day 29, you start back again at day 1. But if you continue the process of making it each morning and keeping it each day, you will finally wake up some morning a different person in a different world. And you will wonder what has happened to you and the world you used to live in. This is the power of repetition, my friends. This is why the Thinking into Results program works when other mindset, law of attraction, life coaching programs don't actually change your results. All right. This is why it's the constant spaced repetition of ideas. You will suddenly wake up a different person in a different world. Here's what's happened. Your resolution or decision has become a habit, and you don't have to make it on this particular morning. And the reason for you seeming like a different person, living in a different world, lies in the fact that for the first time in your life, you've become master of yourself and master of your likes and dislikes by surrendering to your purpose in life. That is why behind every success, there must be a purpose. And that is what makes purpose so important to your future. For in the last analysis, your future is not going to depend on economic conditions or outside influences or circumstances over which you have no control. Your future is going to depend on your purpose in life. So let's talk about purpose. First of all, your purpose must be practical and not visionary. Some time ago, I talked with a man who thought he had a purpose that was more important to him than income. He was interested in the sufferings of his fellow man, and he wanted to be placed in a position to alleviate that suffering. But when we analysed his real feelings, we discovered, and he admitted it, that what he really wanted was a really nice job, dispensing charity with other people's money and being well paid for it, along with the appreciation and feeling of importance that would naturally go with such a job. But in making your purpose practical, be careful not to make it logical. Make it a purpose of the sentimental or emotional type. Remember, this is important, needs are logical, while wants and desires are sentimental and emotional. Your needs will push you just so far. But when your needs are satisfied, they will stop pushing you. If, however, your purpose is in terms of wants and desires, then your wants and desires will keep pushing you long after your needs are satisfied and until your wants and desires are fulfilled. This is why, in Thinking into Results, those of you who are in Thinking into Results, this is why we create a C-type goal. This is why we are going for the dream. This is why we're going for the big goal and not for the, well, it'd be nice if I could earn $2,000, $5,000 a month or whatever it is, because that's what you need to earn, right? Needs will push you only so far, okay? What does he say here? Your needs will push you just so far, but when your needs are satisfied, they will stop pushing you, okay? Then that's when you take your foot off the gas. I've been there. I have been there so many times when I've got to a point in my business where my needs were being met, and I've just gone, I can take my foot off the gas a bit now. And do you know what happens? Because if you're not growing, you're dying in business. Your wants and desires will keep pushing you long after your needs are satisfied. Recently, I was talking with a young man who long ago discovered the common denominator of success without identifying his discovery. He had a definite purpose in life, and it was definitely a sentimental or emotional purpose. He wanted his boy to go through college without having to work his way through as he had done. He wanted to avoid for his little girl the hardships that his own sister had had to face in her childhood. And he wanted his wife to enjoy the luxuries and comforts and even necessities which had been denied his own mother. And he was willing to form the habit of doing things he didn't like to do in order to accomplish this purpose. Not to discourage him, but rather to have him encourage me, I said to him, aren't you going a little too far with this thing? There's no logical reason why your son shouldn't be willing to work his way through college, just as his father did. Of course, he'll miss many of the things that you missed in your college life, and he'll probably have heartaches and disappointments. But if he's any good, he'll come through in the end, just like you did. And there's no logical reason why you should slave in order that your daughter may have the things which your own sister wasn't able to have, or in order that your wife can enjoy comforts and luxuries that she wasn't used to before she married you. He looked at me with rather a pitying look and said, but there's no inspiration in logic. There's no courage in logic. There's not even happiness in logic. There's only satisfaction. The only place logic has in my life is in the realization that the more I'm willing to do for my wife and children, the more I shall be able to do for myself. I imagine after hearing that story, you won't have to be told how to find your purpose or how to identify it or how to surrender to it. If it's a big purpose, you will be big in its accomplishment. If it's an unselfish purpose, you'll be unselfish in accomplishing it. And if it's an honest purpose, you'll be honest and honourable in the accomplishment of it. But as long as you live, don't ever forget that while you may succeed beyond your fondest hopes and your greatest expectations, you will never succeed beyond the purpose to which you are willing to surrender. Furthermore, your surrender will not be complete until you have formed the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do. Okay, so that is called The Common Denominator of Success. It's by Albert E.N. Gray. If you would like a copy of the PDF so that you can do the 30-day challenge with us, just type success in the comments below. But I just want to say, those of you who are in my community, I speak to people on a daily basis who are trying to build a business. And the biggest takeaway I can give you from this particular article is if you are trying to build your business and you're looking at different ways of growing your business and you're trying to find the thing that you like the most, right? If you're trying to find the method that you like the most, that feels the most comfortable to you, that should be a warning sign that it's the wrong thing. Okay? There are people all over the world who know what they're talking about. There are people who have put programs together who know what they're talking about. Thinking into Results is one of those, right? Bob Proctor put Thinking into Results together from his own experiences, from his own knowledge, from what he knows works. Okay, it's been tried and tested by hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. We see results from Thinking into Results every single day. Quite often, the methods that we use are repetitious. all right, the methods that people think they've already tried before and that they think they don't work, all right? It's only when people's backs are right against the wall, usually, that they're willing to try something that they don't really want to do. Thinking into results is one of those things. And usually those things are the things that actually work. So that is what those of you who are in my community and who are trying to grow business, especially those of you who are in MLM, okay, there are things you're going to have to do that you really don't want to do. There are things that you're going to have to do that probably go against certain beliefs that you have, certain values that you currently have. And that's because you are the person currently. That means you have beliefs, you have values, you have a self-image. All right. You are that person currently because you formed the habit of being that person. You need to create the habit of becoming the person who's going to achieve what you really want to achieve in life. If you're serious about being successful, you're going to have to change your behavior, right? You're going to have to change your habits. That's what this article is about. That's what Thinking into Results is about. So if you want to speak to me about Thinking into Results, slide into my DMs if you like, or you can comment below. You could drop me a message asking me to have a chat about Thinking into Results. It's a 6-month mentorship. If you just want to join us for the free challenge, for the 30-day challenge, and you want the free PDF, just type success in the comments below and I will get you a message and we'll sort that out for you. All right. So I hope you found that useful. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments. Let me know what you thought, and I'll be back with you all later. Have a fabulous day. I will see you all soon. Bye for now.